Hello, Amanda and Liz. I wanted to do a walkthrough of recording settings that you need to check and set up before you get ready to record your episodes. I know you have one coming up tomorrow, so I wanted to make sure everything was all clear and squared away for you. First thing to do is make sure that the microphones are plugged in, make sure they're turned on and lighting up. That way the computer will recognize them. Once that's all taken care of, open Skype. First thing you want to do is go to the Skype menu, go to Preferences, and you want to move all the way to the Recording tab here on the right hand side. Now usually this should already be set up. I just want to double check all the settings. So for audio, you want to go to AAC, and don't worry about what these mean. We're just gonna barrel through these. Video quality high, video image size 1280 by 720, video frame rate maximum, record video multi-track, that should be the standard. And then you just make sure all of these are highlighted. All of these check marks, just make sure they're good to go. For save recordings, it's automatically going to go to a movies folder, which is in your Finder window. I'll show you here. Under your username. Where is my username? Yeah, under username, Cody D. Boyce, there's a movies folder here. And then it'll save it either right in here in the movies, or it will give you a folder called saved calls, and they'll be under here. Just so you're aware of where those are. So you can change that if you want. If you click this drop down menu and go to custom, you can designate a folder where you want these recordings to go. If that'd be easier for you to find them, that is totally up to you. I'll let you figure that out. Okay, so all the recording stuff is good to go. Go to the audio video tab. For video, I have my video turned off right now, but for camera, you select, it should default to the FaceTime camera, which is built into your Mac. If you have a webcam that you want to use instead, just make sure you change that here. For your microphone and everything, remember we set up a device on your computer, and I believe I named it podcast recording input or something like that. Just when you go to your microphone, make sure you have that highlighted. So my device is called the Mo2, so I'm going to make sure that I have that check marked. So for the microphone, for the ringing, and for the speakers, they should all match for what you're doing. And then you shouldn't have to worry about this volume slider. Just leave it exactly like that. So once all that's updated, you can close the preferences window, keep Skype open, and then the next thing is open up GarageBand. And we did save a template, I remember, in that folder. Open that GarageBand template. First thing that you want to do, let's wait for this to pop open. No, I don't want to do that right now. So let's just say we open the template here. The first thing that you want to do is save as a brand new recording. That way you're not overwriting anything, and you'll want to do this every episode. So file, save as, and I know you have a podcast folder on your computer, Amanda, so just make sure you're in that same folder. It should default there, and then title it. I usually do mine like this, episode 1, and then name of the guest. So make sure it's titled properly like that, and then save. And last thing is the GarageBand preferences. So GarageBand menu, preferences, and once again, you want to look at the audio tab here, and once again, just make sure that both of these drop-down menus are highlighted on the device that you're using to record. Again, I can't remember exactly what it's called. Podcast record setup or pod mic setup, something like that. Make sure they're both highlighted on the same thing. Now you should have show record enable. Let me open the microphone thing so I can show you. These should already be showing up on the track. I remember I had those open when I saved the template. What you want to do is just make sure that these three buttons are all turned on and highlighted. So the mute button here, trust me, the mute button, the record button here, and this orange input monitoring. So for your track and for Liz's track, make sure all three of those are on. The reason it's muted is because you're going to be talking through Skype and recording into GarageBand. So you want to make sure you're muted in GarageBand. That way you're not hearing yourself as in an echo. You're not hearing yourself twice. Now when you and Liz record by yourselves, you can uncheck this to make sure that you can hear each other in the headphones. But for Skype, you want to make sure you're muted inside of GarageBand. So let me delete this track. So you should have two of these tracks, one for each mic. Just make sure everything is highlighted for both of them. Save, and then we have Skype and GarageBand should be the only two things open on your computer. Once all this stuff is set up, go ahead and call your guest. It will start, make sure you start recording in GarageBand. My apologies. So make sure you hit record here. Go to Skype, call your guest. Skype will start recording as soon as they pick up, so you don't have to hit anything extra there. For example, here's the test call. I'll call them. And you can see it starts recording right away. And then as soon as the call ends, it will stop recording and you're good to go. And that's it. I can't be there in person tomorrow, but I can answer some questions. So if there's anything wrong, let me know. I would recommend setting up, maybe doing a test. If you can call Zach on Skype or call me on Skype and do a test 30 minutes before the interview is scheduled. That way you get everything worked out if there's any issues. So once you're done, we'll end the call. The recording on Skype will stop. GarageBand will keep going once Skype is done. And what you can do is as soon as the call is over, you're still recording in GarageBand, so you can go ahead and if you want to do a customized intro or outro, if you have anything extra that you want to record for the episode, you can do that right now. You don't have to do it immediately since this is the first episode and you're still getting used to the format and everything. You can definitely wait. We can write up some notes for the episode and then you can go back and do that later so that's more clear. And then as you do more episodes, it will get easier and easier.